Hi, I'm Christina Johnson. I'm your host for the Pan de Dios podcast. The Pan de Dios came to me here in Mexico as an expression of goodness, of gentility, of kindness. And the podcast is about Pan de Dios moments in your
It's
life.
Christina Johnson. Today we're doing a really special podcast for Pan de Dios because my sisters are here. Mary Lou Ridingers, wave, Mary Lou, wave so they know. And then Georgeanne is in the green. Right. So we're doing a special podcast. Today would be the third year of our mother's passing and fourth year of our mother's passing. And we decided to tell some stories about her. We may use the word mama, we may use the word Jonesy, we had a lot of names for our mother. We have some great stories about her. She was the best word to use would be she was a, a traditional Texan who became a true pioneer in her life and pioneered her way into myth and legend. So when she died, she was truly a legend, and when she was living, she was a living legend. Okay, so why don't you guys start? Mary Lou or George, start with one of your stories.
You start.
Okay, well, I wanted to tell the story about when we were in Natchez, Mississippi. We had two houses. We had a log cabin and a gray house. And my mother liked to drive from one to the other, but my son Jake liked to run behind her or run next to her in the car because he always wanted to beat her over to one house or the other. So we were coming out of the log cabin and headed toward the gray house, and Jake was all set up. He was about 6 years old because he loved his grandmother, but he wanted to race her car over to the gray house. Anyway, it was getting dark, and she was driving the old Toyota station wagon that had tinted windows. And she was in the car and starting to back up, and Jake was right behind the car. And I scared him because I grabbed him really hard and I said, "Don't ever get behind your grandmother's car." And I was yelling at him because, in particular, when it's dark, because she's blind in one eye. And he got very upset. He said, "She is not." And I said, "Yes, she is." And he said, "She is not." I said, "Yes, she is." And then he thought about it. And he said, "Well, her eye may be blind, but her spirit can see."
That's really true. That's really accurate. Okay, Georgie, what's your story?
Well, Mary Lou reminded me of one that I really liked, of going in Mother's bedroom one time and seeing her stretched out onto her stomach, flat on the floor, and I thought she had fallen or something had happened. I said, "What's the matter?" And she said, "Oh, I'm just smelling the carpet to see if they used Carpet Fresh the last time they vacuumed." So.
Nope, I didn't die. I'm just smelling the carpet.
You wouldn't. I'm not dead. I'm just smelling the carpet. And did you that reminds me when you told me about Mother, what was it? Who was she showing the back exercises to? The back exercises.
She was showing it to this young scientist at Machu Picchu.
At Machu Picchu. Going to Machu Picchu to see Machu Picchu, and the guy's back hurt, and there they are rolling around the ground at Machu Picchu while Mother's showing him her back exercises and her yoga postures.
And then they always wrote her a Christmas card saying how much better he was because of the exercises.
He was so much better. Okay, so I had there's so many stories. The one I was thinking of before was the Pasha. What was the Pasha's full name? The Pasha, the Moroccan Pasha?
Mustafa El Alami.
Mustafa El Alami, the Pasha in Morocco. And Mother and her friend Jean were out camping and sitting outside the tent on folded blankets, right? And they invited this man to tea. Is that how it goes?
Well, what I remember, of course, is Jean Slingloff and Slinky, we were camping outside of Casablanca. What I'm not sure, we must have gone over to Marrakesh where he lived and met him somehow. and just he invited us to his nice house and a nice meal. But what I remember is that he just couldn't believe these women were camping outside of Casablanca. So,
And then he invited them to his lovely house for tea.
yeah.
Yeah, that's a really great story too. So the one that I'm remembering most is that crazy trip. I don't remember why we were going to Portugal, but we were living in Spain, and one of a friend of the families, the child of a friend of the families was named Morris Kimlin Jones, and was the mom an opera singer? I'm not really sure. But anyway, Morris Kimlin Jones was about 12, and we were making this trip to Spain, from Spain to Portugal. And who else was on that trip, Georgie? There was you, me, Mother, and Morris.
Oh, it was me. Jonesy was driving. It was Lynn Lightman, who was my friend from school, her brother Bruce, you, Morris Kimlin Jones, and we were using the Lightman's family car, which was a big, huge station wagon, and we had their poodle with us.
That's right. We had a poodle, and so this was like a longer story, as it were. But we were crossing the border, and it was nighttime. It was getting to nighttime. What we found out was that Morris Kimlin Jones did not have a passport.
It was expired.
And so with the expired passport, Mother had the grand idea not of turning around and going back, of course, but why don't we hide him? Why don't we hide him in the back of the car? And we were going to hide him in the back of the car, but then what happened is we decided that we were going to let him out before the border, and he was going to run around the border and meet us on the other side. Isn't that right?
Yeah.
And so we didn't hide him in the back. This 12-year-old kid, who obviously from his name, he has Irish ancestry, got out of the car, and it's night. It's the border between Spain and Portugal. And there were all these grapevines, because Portugal is a big wine country. And there he goes running. And Mother says, "When we cross the border, we'll blink our lights on the other side so you can find us when you run across the fields and get into Portugal." And that's how it happened. So we crossed the border with our passports, got to the other side, and we're there in the dark in the station wagon, blinking the lights. He didn't come. Blinking the lights, and Mother's probably thinking, "Oh my, this is not my child. What have I done?" And then he comes, racing finally, but after quite a while, right? He said it was a long way to go where they wouldn't find him, running through the fields to get to the other side to Portugal. So those are some stories about our amazing.
Well, wasn't someone out calling the dog?
Yes, we kept calling Morris. And then when the border guard came to find out what we were doing and why we were flashing the lights, and that if we didn't leave, he would arrest us all. We said, "Oh, the dog is sick. Well, we have to walk the dog." And we were saying,
and we were calling the dog Morris, right? Yeah. Morris. That's a great one. These days it probably wouldn't happen, because everything is so different with what we used to do with crossing borders, and things. I don't know. I noticed the change to me, I think the change happened in the U.S. with 9/11. When 9/11 happened, that's when the security came down about everything, checking everything. And before that, it was a lot freer, but going through borders. So, okay. Well, thanks for joining me. This has been a good Pan de Dios, talking about our beloved mother, Jonesy.
And you have a bush. Is that your Jonesy bush behind you?
What I have is Alex, who does my work on these podcasts, has taught me how to put different backgrounds on my Zoom, which anyone can do. You can do it too. And this one is my garden. It's my actual garden. But right behind the pink one is the Jonesy bush. You can't see it in this picture. The Jonesy bush is a red rose bush that started blooming furiously the day after my mother died. My belief is that some of the energy that happens when someone leaves this planet, that she left some of it in that bush, sort of for a way for me to be with her. And right before right at the time of the passing of my mother, that bush goes crazy. It doesn't the rest of the year. The rest of the year it has 3 red roses, 4, but at this time it just goes nuts. It's got about 30 roses on it right now. So
wonderful. That's your Betty Bush.
That's a good end to talk about the Betty Bush. So, okay, well, bye. And I always end with a Pan de Dios expression. So may your Pan de Dios be delicious but gluten-free.
Thank you. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Love you.
Bye.
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 I hope you enjoyed the Pan de Dios moments. Please let us know if you have a moment that you'd like to share on the podcast. And goodbye now, and may your Pan de Dios always be rising.